Hello everybody and welcome back to this tutorial series about creating a mobile friendly game, a physics game with Construct 3. This is the session number 6 and we're going to create a new kind of projectile because as it says here, it is always nice to give your game mechanics a twist so it is more fun for you players. So we're going to design a new projectile and creating a behavior for that projectile. So let's get into the action. We are going to make this full screen, and just to remember where we are at, and just to make things easier for us to test, I am going to use this action temporarily here in the level 1 script. So we just no, actually I don't have to do that. I'm just going to set an initial value for this boolean and for this global variable, and to say that is the desktop. That's right, desktop. Okay, so since we have that initial value here, why is not working? Top, I said okay. Alright, here we go. So we have that initial value here, and it corresponds with this set of code. So I don't have to go to the title screen and test from there all the time just to get the desktop line of code. I can just test from here, but I need to remember to deactivate that when I finally publish my game. So here it is what we have so far. We have all of our main mechanics. I was thinking that this guy is like spinning a lot, this blue parrot here. Maybe we can have a bigger angular damping so we don't like have to wait so much for that projectile to stop rotating and moving. Okay, great. So that's our main mechanic so far. The first thing I want to design here is that you can shoot more than one time. So maybe we can have different type of bullets and use a different bullet in every shot. Now let's say we are going to have 2 shots. And let's say that we have our parrot here, and let's create another bullet. Just for now it's going to be a single very similar bullet. So what I can do is just to clone this object type, which is already in the family bullets, as you can see here. Blue parrot does, a bullet parrot does. 2. I'm sorry, I was mixing Spanish. Bullet parrot 2, and here you can see they have the same characteristics, except that this is in the background layer. I don't need it there. I need it on the objects layer, and I have to make sure that I log this and I am working always here. So we also have the surface layer, and we might need another like UI layer. I don't need to call it layer, just UI. You already know that it's a layer. Okay, and I'm going to make these guys to go to that UI layer. See order, move to layer, UI layer. Perfect. Okay, so since this is a different projectile, let's look for an asset for it. We're going to use our physics pack, and you can explosive elements. Oh, this is cool. Let's use, for example, aliens. No, I don't want to use aliens. I want to use this weren't here. I'm sorry. Here. Animal pack. Round outline. So we might want to use another kind of projectile, another cool projectile. Which can that be? Let's say I don't know. Let's use just the snake. Let's open the snake, and we need to make sure that yes, it's well positioned. The other origin point, the other reference point, image point. Let's change the poly, and why not? Maybe we can use just its shape to use a different collision poly. Let me see. The idea is that you don't have, oh yeah, more of 9 points. That's not a good advice. That's not a good thing. We might just need to think better. Let's use this collision poly for this projectile. Something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's okay. It's good enough. More than 8 is not recommended. And speed, no speed for the animation. And maybe, yes, maybe this can be bigger. This is size of 100. Maybe not that big. Let's see how much we have here. 136. Let's make it I don't know, 100 and just 20. Not that big. This is cool enough. Okay, so I have, let's say, 2 different projectiles now. What happens if I play the game is that I only have orders for this one. I only have code for that one. You can see how here I am referencing the bullet parrot all of the time. So the first thing I need to do is to change that, and I'm going to replace that object for the fam enemies, so it works for any fam enemies. I'm sorry, family bullets. The first one I did wrong. Let me just Control C all that. Okay, blue parrot. Replace object. Replace the blue parrot for the bullets family. And the same here, replace this object for the bullets family. The same here. I made some mistake, I think. Replace object, this object, bullets family. And it's not just that. I have to be careful with this catapult center bullet parrot. So I need to change this wherever it says bullet parrot for fam bullets. Fam bullets. That's okay. Same here. Fam bullets. That's okay. This it's talking about touch, catapult center, and here and bullets. And bullets. Done. Okay. Everywhere when referencing the parrot now should reference the family bullets. So it's important. Actually, that was my mistake at the very beginning. I should always use the family bullets to reference that, so I don't have to do the same code for every single object. So here I'm going to just do this like that, and I'm going to copy this and this here. Okay, let's just make sure that there is not bullet parrots anymore anywhere. Here, for example, I gotta replace this for the final bullets. Okay, self is good. This is okay. Okay, perfect. And now the same here. Let's do it just quickly. Final bullets. Okay. And now mouse, get up center. Here we have the bullet parrot. And here. Final bullets, that's okay. And the same here. Replacing the bullet parrot for family bullets. Okay. Now here, replace not the action but the object. Family bullets. I hope I'm not breaking my game again. That wouldn't be so nice, would it? So yeah, hopefully we had done a good job replacing. Now we have these guys here. Yeah, it's okay. And both guys are working. We are obviously shooting them both at the same time. Something weird happened here. Maybe I forgot to change it here. Bullet parrot. Yeah, I forgot to change it here. Family bullets and family bullets. Alright, it shall be working now. But there's something weird there happening. And the start of layout, distance between catapult center and family bullets, image point 1, image point 1. Let me see if this image point is correctly set. Okay, and this one is also No, this is nowhere. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's something somehow crazy. What's happening? I think I will figure out over the way somehow. Because looking here, I don't see anything crazy, and it must be here because at the beginning of the start of layout, set width distance to catapult center, final words image point x1. It's maybe because it has two different family words. So the next thing I am going to do is to create a system to shoot this different at different moments. So the first thing I can do is just to disable uh, the physics behaviors on each one of these characters. So why do I want them disabled? Because I want to use that as a boolean to choose which of the projectiles I'm going to use in my next shoot. So the logic says, or what I want to do is that these two are going to appear up here, and if I want to shoot, I have to tap the bullet that I want to use. Then that bullet is going to come here, and it's going to be used in the shoot. So let's start with that. So that means that we need to get rid of the positioning at the start of the layout of the family bullets. And here is the trick that we need to do. Since the way this is programmed so far means that whenever I start a touching and dragging, or clicking and dragging, the two bullets are going to go to the center, and I am going to be able to shoot them. Something weird happened here. Oh damn, I start breaking my game again. So let's see what we did wrong. Okay, let's see. Distance, we are setting the distance in the right way, and if we are aiming and we are moving, and when we are releasing, oh, of course, we just disable the it's normal that that thing is happening because we disable the physics. So we are able to aim, but nothing is going to happen because since the physics are disabled, they are not going to be shot. And that's right what we need for now. So we need a way to select them, and the first thing is that we don't want to be aiming to be true at the very beginning. So the first thing we need to do is to deactivate that action, and let's say that we are going to be on a state actually we are going to change this boolean, and we are going to need another kind of global variable for this. We are going to call it aim, just to not name it the same way, and this is going to be a string. Or better yet, we are going to call this state. And this is going to be a street. And the initial value could be something like idle or just waiting, whatever you can want to call it, and it will be the state in which nothing is happening. So the first thing we need to do, and don't remember to change your code for both of the situations here, and the first thing we need to do is to disable this aiming. And what's going to happen is that we are on desktop. This is our big block of code. So the next instruction here to go to the next state, which is aiming, shall be aiming, is that we need to insert a new condition, a new event, and that will be a mouse event. And let's say, for example, on object clicked, and let's choose just click left, and let's choose an object, and that could be, for example, the family bullets. So what shall happen with that object? The first thing that needs to happen is that we are going to set the new global variable called state into aiming. So whenever we make click on one of those two projectiles that we have here, we are going to enter the state of aiming. The second thing that I need to happen is that that character, that projectile, it's going to enable its behavior of physics. So first I change the state, then I change this. I change its behavior to be enabled here, and those are going to be our first actions. We need to copy this because we need this also here, but we are going to change the condition because we are looking not for a mouse on object, a tap, a mouse, a touch gesture. Let's see, touch on touched object. Let's use the object family bullets. That's okay. And here we go. We have our main actions to activate one bullet, just one bullet at a time. So what's going to happen is that when I activate that bullet, the system it's going to compare, and this is what is going to change. We are no longer going to compare if this boolean is set, but if a variable which we created, which is a state, it's equal to aiming. And if it is aiming again, and so the family bullets, but we need here to start differentiating between the two instances that we have out there. So what we need to do is to let me create a sub event. So if a state is aiming, but let's make a sub event here to test whether or not the family bullets has its physics behavior enabled. So let's go here once again. What we're going to say is that if physics behavior is enabled, set position to center of the catapult. And if we have these two which are not enabled, and then after tapping one it becomes enabled, what it does means is that this is going to come to the center because it's enabled, but this one will still there and physics won't be applied to it because they are not enabled in this one. So we are using that enable and disable to choose the projectile that it's going to be affected by our slingshot mechanic. I hope you guys are following with me. So if physics are enabled, set position to the catapult center, and here we have to do maybe a parenting here. So all of this code is applied only to the to the um, to the physics element that has physics enabled. Let's check. This is important to be that one. This as well. But this one, maybe these two, don't need to be that. So we can make just a blank event to separate and to make them independent. And let's see how that works later. And finally, when you are releasing the mouse, the same thing we need here, just if family bullets is enabled, and let's make it a sub event. You can drag and drop below, and we don't need this because that was for the other event. Okay, this will have to happen. Maybe this we can just put it here. So summarizing, if the state is aiming after making tap on one of the projectiles that we have, only we'll apply these actions to the enabled one. So it will set the angle towards the catapult center, it will set the distance, it will use our sprite to act as a rubber band in relation just to that one object, and the cursor will be changed as we programmed before. And when we release the left button of the mouse, then we will have the physics behavior of the projectile and the impulse applied only to the physics object which is enabled, and our mouse will go back to normal. So this happens, and then we are setting aiming to false, and when we have to remember that this can't be used anymore because we have a new variable, so we need to change that action, and we need to set the value for state to maybe, let's say, should, just for now. Remember to put that inside quotes. Damn. Should. Just let's get rid of this. Okay. And we are going to be in a new state here, so we need to change this also. We have to set a variable. No, we don't have to set a variable. Let's make just a new condition, and that condition is compare not two values but a variable which is a state, and check if it is equal to should. So remember, our initial state is idle, and the second state will be aiming, and the third state will be should. So let's get rid of this, and when we are on should, this is going to happen, and system will wait some seconds, and finally the final thing we need to do is to go back to the initial state so we can make the other should. And the first stage was idle, I believe, and we don't need, we maybe need this message, but we are going to deal with messages later. We just need to check first that our main mechanic is working well. So finally, I think we are pretty close to our logic where we need it. So we are on desktop. This needs to happen at the very beginning of the layout. So the first instructions shall be, for example, choose a projectile. I don't remember how to write that. Choose a bullet. Sorry, but I don't remember the correct spelling. Choose a bullet. Just something like that. Maybe this is enough for a good user to know what he has to do. Okay. And finally, we are going to set the state to aiming. But first, we need to add on top of this another condition and compare the variable, and only if this is idle. And it's important, this is case sensitive. All the variables are case sensitive. You have to keep that in mind. So I think we're finished. Let's recap what are we doing here. We are checking if we are in a desktop device. Then when the level starts, we are positioning our rubber band and give it a width, showing our instructions. And then only if the system is idle, if the state is idle, we are going to perform this action. And when the state is idle and we click on any of the bullets, it will change the state of the game to aiming. And when that is happening, we are also activating that projectile. And during the aiming, all of that we have programmed before, it will work just only with that one specific projectile. And the idea is that when I release, I'm going to change that state once more to shoot. And why to shoot? Because when it goes to that state, we are going to recover the original width for our rubber band, and the shoot is going to be performed. And after 2 seconds, we might change the for now, and just for now, let's give that. Let's just leave that for now. And then after maybe 3 seconds or another 2 seconds, when the whole movement is done, we are going to go back to the first stage. For what? To be able to click the other projectile and do all the whole process again. So that's the idea here. Maybe it's working. It should be working. Let's try it now. So we have our first look here. We are going to look what happened there. And now I should be able to click over one projectile, but it immediately performed the shooting, and that's because when I click, immediately it gives the order to change the state from idle to aiming, and when I release the click, I am not really quick. So sort of it like what the game reads is like you are like dragging from the very beginning of the state. So we don't want that. The first thing we need to do is not to set the distance, this width distance, from the very beginning. That's a mistake. Second, we are going to finally erase that. And the third thing we need to do is to make a little weight here, just little, maybe even 0.3 seconds are enough for me to release the mouse button or the touch, and to finish the click, I mean, and hopefully this will work better. So let's try again now. Choose a bullet. I say okay, I want this, and I do that, and you can see now I can shoot. I like I already sort of beat the level, but I shall be able to choose the other bullet and perform my next shoot. And you can see how that what happens there, and is that I activated the new bullet, but this was still active. So somehow I need to tell the game before I go to idle again that all physics for all the family bullets shall be disabled, and I need to select this. Let me just go to physics and enable disable collisions, set enabled and disabled. So before I go to idle again, I should disable that physics behavior. Let's see how that works. Now I'm going to shoot this one first. It works perfectly, okay. And now I should find a way to like test when there is no movement on any object physics to like go to the next round, but we are not going to do that right now. I want to test if I can make the second shoot, and it works well. So now I can pick my bullets. That's cool. Always remember, and here it happens something funny, and it was that this little guy, has no longer physics activated, and this at the end of the second round it also have the physics deactivated. So at the beginning it seems to work, but now I seem that I really don't want that. So I need to create other kind of filter to pick my bullets. So maybe what I actually need to do is to create an independent way to pick my bullets of the physics behavior able or disable. So what we are going to do now is to create another variable for the physics family, the first variable actually, and we are going to make it a boolean and just call it active, and the initial value will be not active for all of them. So it's a simple change. It's not going to affect too much what we have done, but let's take this into account. um, what we need to do now is to make the bullet choosing dependent of that new boolean variable that we just created. So let's review our code again. If the state is idle, on click of the family bullets, and here we need to add another condition because we need to only pick the ones that are not used yet, right? So um, first of all, oh, maybe before we do this, I think we could need just a boolean, but a boolean won't do for all the three things that we need to do. So bear with me. We are going to change that variable and family bullets instance variable. Let's see if we can change this. This will be a string, and it'll be called. We can call this. Um, I would like to call it also state, but we might be, or some of you might be confused by it because we are using state for the general state of the game. But let's call it just bullet state, so it's a little bit more clear. So initial value will be inactive because at the very beginning all the bullets shall be inactive. So if we check here, we have that variable inactive, and then we should be able to pick a bullet only if its state is inactive. And I will tell you just why. Because imagine that I shoot this bullet and it was inactive, and I shoot this bullet, and then after a while will be, when I shoot it is going to be active, and then after a while it's going to be inactive again if we use the Boolean one. So that will mean that in the next round I could just click on that again and use that bullet again, and that doesn't make sense. So what I'm going to do now is to set that bullet another to a third state, so it is not active and I cannot pick it after being shooted. So here we have on click of the button of the family on the family bullets, only if they are active it's going to change the state. It's going to send us here. So here I don't want to be dependent of that, but I want to test a variable, and that'll be if our bullet is, and the second state shall be something like active. Let's say that. And so we also need to, besides setting physics enabled here, we need to set that variable. So we are going to set the value of that to active. And now we can choose the bullet. If the bullet is active, all of these that we already know what is for is going to take action, and after releasing, this won't be a condition any longer, but this one, After that is happening, and we are going to apply the impulse, and this is going to let me check here if we need to do something else. And okay, so here for example, we need to change the state of that specific bullet, which was active in that turn. So when we are on shoot, we need another action. So I am copying that one, and I am like creating a blank sub event, and I am going to paste this one here. So this is going to be triggered once, and wait 2 seconds, and we are going to set the bullet state. Where is that? Because I want to copy it. Set the bullet state to something like shoot, or something like it's not inactive, it's not active, something used, just used. Actually, any word will serve, it doesn't matter, but I just want to be clear with what the state of each bullet is. So first is inactive, so we can use it, then will become active after we tap it, and then after all the things happen will be used, so it can be picked again. Okay, maybe this works well. Let's try it out. So we have, oh, I moved this. Let's make this right, and let's put this guy like over here so it doesn't get in the way. And okay, so I can use any of this. I can choose, it becomes inactive, I can pick it. If you watch here, I'm not picking it, and now I can use this one for my second try and watch it out. So the thing is that I don't want them to be to disable the physics for that specific bullet. And since we are not using the disabled or enabled physics condition to pick our next bullet here, we can just erase that action as I just did. So now if we shoot our catapult, this will still have physics, it will still behave. I can start my other shoot while it is still moving, and this works just great. And both are going to behave with physics, which is exactly what I want. So now that we have that, and that was a really important part for what we want to do now, we can have different types of bullets and use them maybe in a different way. So for example, we can make this like more dense, and it will be harder to shoot, and it can has less elasticity. So this is like a heavy bullet, and this can be even smaller. Maybe let's try just 80. But we can make this lighter, so maybe less density, something like this, and more bouncy. And you will see how this it's going to change our game mechanics, because while this one it will be heavier to shoot, maybe it's too heavy for the game that we are doing, maybe 0.8 just will do. Let's see how that works. True, that's enough, that's cool, but it's not strong enough. We can also have this one, and we can like boom use it. It has less strength, but is more bouncy. It's gonna make more things. It's gonna cause more mayhem. Let's say we might need this to be a little bit less dense. Maybe just 6 is okay. This is 5, but this is no bouncy, no bounce at all, like 0 bounce. And let's try this again. This as the first one. Look at that, cool how it behaves. And now we can complete the level by shooting this one. That's cool enough. And I have now a light bullet and a heavy bullet. I have 2 different kinds of projectiles. And just to get crazy here, let me quickly clone, for example, this one. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to... Now I have to select this. Okay. And let's clone the object. Why can't I just... Oh, here it is. Clone the object. And I'm going to use another projectile. Let's say is the chicken projectile. It'll be cool. And what happened with the chicken projectile is that we already have the thing here is that all the programming that we did shall be working now for any of these guys. So I shall be able to use all of the bullets. And since I am referencing families and not specific objects, we are able to use all of the bullets. So what I want to do with this little guy is to let me check if that is a behavior. Instance variables cancel. What I want to do with this is to make this bullet explode. So we are going to use a timer for this one, and that timer, if we go here, I use it for this, right? Physics. Let me check behaviors. Yes, this has a timer. So the thing with timers is that we can, for example, let's clone this little guy. I'm sorry, I'm going to explain you what I want to do. What I want to do is that when I shoot this guy, a timer is going to be activated, and that timer is going to be like really slow, and not slow, but really quick. I'm sorry. And then this bullet is going to explode, and it's going to create other bullets, and those other bullets are going to be like this, something similar to this one. So I'm going to clone this one. Okay. And I am going to change, let's pick the chicken now, and I'm going to make those really small, like this. This will be cool, and this won't be. We won't be needing these ones here. And okay. So the thing here is that we are going to shoot this bullet, and then it's going to explode and create bullets like this one. So let's do that. We already have our two new objects, and let's add, and this is just going to happen no matter what. Let's add another condition below. So when this becomes active, and we are going to compare the instance variable, and yeah, when this becomes active, what it's going to happen, and we have to make sure that we only activate these once, is that we are going to use the timer, and that must be somewhere here, start timer, and the duration of the timer, let's say it's just 1 second to start, and the tag will be boom. The tag is a word that you will use to reference that specific timer, and whenever this becomes active, this is going to be a start. And then what needs to happen, and we are going to insert another behavior, another action event here, I'm sorry, on timer, and here we use the tag that we just used for the timer that we set. So when this timer reaches 0, something needs to happen, and we are going to destroy the object. That's one of the things that has to happen. And the other thing is that he is going to create another object. So let's say, for example, oh no, he needs to spawn another object. That's the correct action to use, and the other object will be this one. And the ledger, you can choose the ledger to be the object's ledger. Okay, image point 0, it's okay. And so far we have the condition for this to be active, and these guys, let's say that this guy, it's going to be enabled from the very beginning, and we have to add another action because we don't want that like making crazy things up there. So we are going to destroy that instance. We just need it for loading, and after we load this object with these behaviors and everything, we can destroy it just at the very beginning of the game. So now here we can use it, and what we can say here is create another event, and on created we can use physics on that object, and we are going to apply an impulse, and we need to set an impulse but at angle. That's right. So the impulse will be like, and we can choose let's say 100 just for now, and the angle could be any random angle. So we are going to use random like random will allow you to choose between a range, which is from the first value you specify, let's say 0, to 1 less than the second value, so will be 361. And with this we are choosing the angle, like be any angle. Image point, it's okay from any image point. So we are going to create like 4 of these objects, and then we are going to destroy. And these guys should be appear in that moment when the timer goes off, when the timer reaches its limit, and then these guys are going to appear and are going to be like shoot in every direction. Just let's see what happens there. So we have this, for example, just start with this for fun, and we use that. We did nothing, but we can use our chicken bomb. And okay, there was one problem, and you saw what happened there. First of all, 100 is a lot, and maybe just make it like, I don't know, 25, just to check. And the thing is that as soon as this becomes active, it will only count one. It will only count like 1 second. So the time while I am aiming, it's gonna count for that second. So I don't want that to be that quick, because we want our user to have some time to aim. Let's say that you will spend normally like 2 seconds to aim, and then 3 seconds. Maybe it could be a good thing, actually a fun thing, to have that bump ticking from the very beginning, and you have so limited time to shoot that projectile. So that can be fun. So I have like 2 seconds to aim, and I let it go, and then this happened. And maybe the last thing I want to do here is that this is too heavy. I'm going to reduce this just to give the sense of more strength. I'm going to reduce this like to 0.4 and give it another second. No, maybe 0.4 is too less. 0.5 just to try. And let's give it another second. Of course, you need to tell your players you gain mechanics, so maybe a timer counting for that bomb, maybe making it go like let's put 4 seconds here. Maybe, for example, something that you could do, it's to add another behavior to this really quick. Add a new behavior that could be a scene, and that scene needs to be like about the size, and maybe 50 is too much, but 15 it's okay, and maybe really quick to make it feel like it's going to explode. Something like this, even less, that's cool. And we have this disabled, and that's cool. And we have this here. We can tell that whenever it's active, it should also active that behavior, that's in behavior. So set enabled. So now we have something like to tell our player that that bomb is special. It's still up there, but when I click it, it becomes active, and I should like boom, and it will explode. And now obviously all of this needs refinement, but we have 3 different basic projectiles that we can use in our game mechanics, and we have a way to choose which one of them we want to work in the next round. So that's how you can like extend your game mechanics and try fun things, different things to challenge your players and think about the strategies on how to use their different projectiles. And that's what you do when you design a game. Think in ways that you can make your game more interesting, manipulating and twitching and twisting your game mechanics. So let's make it just one more. I want to restart the level. Something's happening with the restart. It's not working. Maybe I messed something up because it's linked to, I believe, press R on keyboard, show restart. I don't know why it's not working, but we'll fix it later. Choose a bullet. Okay, I want this one. Maybe we need to implement also that when we when a bullet collides with an enemy, it shall kill it also. We have our ticking bomb there. We are going to shoot it, and there we go. That's cool. And okay, I hope you guys are having fun with this tutorial series. This chapter was especially fun to make, and I hope to see you guys in the next session.